something like, you all are not supposed to talk in the next session. Okay, a warm good morning to one and all. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Dr. Anbuthambi. I head strategy and partnership for the EduTech initiative at the L&T Limited, Larsen and Toubro Group. I'm from Chennai, and I'm here for a very, very good panel discussion with some of the brightest of the minds from across the globe. I have with me today 4 of my panel members. I will invite them, and then I will get into the... So I have with me Prof.M.Manivannan, who is heading, with a big round of applause to Professor Manivannan from the IIT Madras. He's a senior most professor there. He leads the one of XR initiatives. I don't want to deep dive into that because I wanted him to talk about that. And he is now trying to start something big for the Indian academic ecosystem, and we will listen to him. Pleasure having you, Dr. Manivannan. We have Mr. Darik Hem, the director of ETC from the Carnegie Mellon University. With a big round of applause to Mr. Darik. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Mr. Darik. Welcome to India, and also welcome to this session. I have with me Dr. Padmavathi, who is the principal of the Government Degree College in Begumpet. Madam is, I think she's just walked out, and she should come in. We also have Mr. Chaitanya, the Vice President of Whistling Woods International, one of the leading design schools in Mumbai, and he's there with us. Thank you very much, Mr. Chaitanya. This panel is a very, I should say it's unique in this today's context, because when you go to any other room, they talk about all the advanced technologies, what's happening in the game development industry, and what is the future, what is future to future. When we were all still talking about AI, people are talking about XR, people are talking about something. No, there are big words everybody is using, and most of them are in learning of what the future is. But we are more worried about what the current is, because we have to invest today a lot to make sure the future is bright for us. Not just for the industry, also for the academia, also for everyone in India here. So this panel is more to discuss about how institutions can shape and evolve itself specific to the game development industry. How do we build talent? What is the gap here? What is the skill gap here? And how do we make this particular domain of game development kind of a lucrative careers which students will look upon? And how do we motivate institutions to look this as one of the very key area to work on? Because always game development is like, I recall one of my friend, one of my classmate who is actually a very, I should say, when I was maybe out of 25 people, I was somewhere around 15th or 16th rank in my class. There was a guy who always is about 25. He'll be in the 25 rank, 26 rank. So he runs one of the game development company in Las Vegas. So his office is there, and in fact his residence is there. And among all of us, all the 25 people, while we all have succeeded in the career, he succeeded much more than all of us. So it is not, we are envy about him, but still, he did that good in his career, and today game development took him, in spite of he not being the topper in my class. The toppers are definitely there in good places, but still he is the best today among our group. But not everyone made there. Not everyone made there for that industry, and everybody wanted to get into development. Everybody looked at TCS, Infosys kind of companies as their careers, etc. Because all aspirations evolve right at college, when they are working in college. That being on the aspiration side of students. Now comes to Indian context. Last year, I'm sure all of you know, most of the professors are here. I could see a lot of college principals are here. Most of the engineering institutions have made sure 80% is computer science. All streams like civil, mechanical. By the way, our gentleman from US, basically he's an architect. Now he's turned fully into a game or a design development person. I think here is an example. So we are also like you, sir. We have also ensured all the core engineering streams are left behind. We have made sure all 80% is computer science today. We have different names for it, computer science, IT, AI, ML, DL, but everybody go and land in Infosys and Cognizant, and again they come to US and things like that. That is the other state of affairs in Indian context, at least for now. After 5 years, looking at the scenario, after 5 years, we will have several lakhs of computer science graduates coming out of India. So when this is the scenario, how are we going to deal with this industry, specific to, I should not say industry, this domain. So how do we deal colleges, or how do we make colleges understand about this niche domain, where you all have worked, all these three gentlemen and also the madam who will join us. 4 of them have done something specific to this industry, specific to the game development, and let's hear about them. So as a first round, I would request you to give your initial thoughts about this industry, how colleges, or how you are looking at the future of this particular industry. I'll start from you.
Thank you.
Madam, Dr. Padmavathi, please come. Big round of applause to Dr. Padmavathi. So we want to make sure our panel is also very inclusive. Come, ma'am. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Your initial thoughts.
Yeah. So, just to take off from something Professor said, was the fact that the topper in his class was not expected to go into gaming, right? Was expected to do other things, and the fact that he went into gaming and ended up where he did was an aberration, right? So that thinking is the problem. That is where it all stems from, and that's really the core of where we are as a video games industry. I'm going to actively stop saying gaming, because gaming in the global context means real money gaming and betting, right? So where we are when it comes to the video games industry is this. At one end, we are working on some of the world's best games, employing some of the world's best talent. At the other end, you have parents and students who don't understand what video game is. And they don't want their kids to get into it, even though the kids want to get into it, even though the parents themselves are consuming it. So it is a really, really wide spectrum at this point of time in the country, which we are dealing with, and we have to deal with it, because that's how life works. So, if you look at the industry as a whole, we are doing some outstanding high quality work. So very, very high value in very, very low volume, but we are also doing some very, very high volume work, which isn't necessarily of the highest value, right? We have 600 million gamers in India. All of them are not playing high-end games on consoles. 95+% of them are playing mobile games, which are very, very basic, right? So high value, high volume, low value, and again, so this is the spectrum that we have to cater to. So it's not and we have to do all this while the industry is still settling down, while norms are still being formed by the government. Finally, now we have a clear separation of gaming, real money gaming and gambling and betting from video games, right? Finally, we have a clear separation now. Finally, we have a recognition of esports as a sport. So while you've got this huge spectrum of activity happening in the industry, and you have the norms coming together, and the government is waking up finally and deciding to put some money and some muscle and some shoulder behind this. This is the extremely complex and convoluted milieu that as academics we have to thread the needle. So our graduates need to be able to go and work for the best of the best, working for the best of the best, but they also have to go and work in bulk for the kind of high volume, low value games which are being created for the Indian massive market, because that exists. And that's actually really, really huge. So this is in a kind of in a short span. This is the complex nature of the industry that academics have to deal with, and then later on in the discussion, I'll talk about how Whistling Woods is dealing with it.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Chaitanya. So I'll move to Professor. Your initial thoughts on this?
Yeah, thank you. This AVGC in the context of India is what we are discussing. For the purpose of our discussion, I wanted to segregate AVGC and XR separately. For several reasons, I will point out a couple of reasons. Particularly in Indian context, it is going to be very important. AVGC is mostly for entertainment, gaming, and all those things, whereas XR need not be entertainment alone. And XR is going to be much more than entertainment. There are the skilling part of it, education part of it, heritage part of it. And I would narrate a lot of use cases for XR than AVGC alone. That is number one. Number two is AVGC has started some 20 years ago in India. Okay, it's about now there are a lot of now community is developed. Now Unity and Unreal Engine is very popular and all those things, whereas XR has just recently started. And it is not popular yet. There are not much applications in India, particularly in this IGDC. If you look at it, there are 300 startups companies now pitching for our now startup pitch, but there it's only 12 companies are XR companies. Okay, that shows now how much now we have to now do more. So I believe that XR will scale up much more in the coming days, and there is going to scope now a lot more. That is number two. Number three is there is particularly in IIT Madras, we are talking about not skilling of gaming development alone, but developing tools for gaming development or developing tools for XR itself. So the technology part of it, when we are the last panel discussion, they were talking about the skilling part of it. Skilling not to just use the gaming or the XR tools, but skilling of developing the new technology. That's why in IIT Madras we have this as the XTIC, Experiential Technology Innovation Center. It is not just using it, but innovate it in the XR technologies, AR, VR, and other MR technologies, so that we develop tools, new tools. There may be some specific need coming from India. We do not know. We are now particularly speaking, we are more focused on the heritage and the culture and all those things. So how XR technologies can be useful and all those things.
Good, sir. Good. Thanks for that initial thoughts. So I'll next move to Madam. So you're the one to introduce BSc Game Design at least in Telangana. I should say this. I don't know about the other states, but here. So give your initial thoughts on what motivated you.
Yeah, thank you. So we were initially thinking about introducing courses, apprenticeship-based courses for undergraduate students. I work for Government Degree College for Women, which is at Begumpet. So when these discussions were going on, Sector Skill Council of India was collaborating, and media and entertainment sector has thrown this idea of BSc Game Art Design course. So that's how we picked it up, and ours is the only college which is doing this course at a BSc level. And we do face a lot of challenges in introducing this course, especially to make the students understand the importance of this course. The students, as such, my college, the admissions are very high and cutoffs are very high. I get students across Telangana. It is an online admission process. So students have joined this course because they did not get seat elsewhere. And you know, many dropouts and transferring to other courses, all this happened. But you know, I'm very thankful to the industry, Lakshya Digital, which has come forward. And this is the only course in my college which is totally run with the institute and industry partnership. Industry has given us the entire curriculum. Industry members are on our board of studies, and industry is members are teaching the course as part of thanks to UGC for introducing professors of practice, and we are able to get professors of practice to teach this course, and they're evaluating, and that's how the course has picked up. And I'm really so happy. This is one course which is we are able to teach students about logical thinking. Usually we used to wonder, how can we teach, you know, logical thinking, analytical thinking is something which is, you know, built in But the content is like that, and the students are so much involved into this course, and about 50–60% of the students have 100% attendance. I mean, undergraduate students, that's a real challenge for us these days. So, and because of the industry support, the course has really picked up, and as part of the curriculum, we have 6 months internship to the students in their final semester. So industry again is supporting us for this apprenticeship also, and it is also coming out with placement support as well. So first batch will be passing out this year. We just started 3 years back, but slowly it has picked up, and this year first year admissions were really, you know, students who wanted to join have taken up the course. They didn't slide to other courses even when there was choice for them. So, and what I feel is I have students, very diverse students, because I work for a government college, and that too women college. We work with the vision of empowering women through knowledge, and always we looked up our empowerment with economic independence. Some sort of, you know, placement assistance is what was there in our mind. And that is how we advertise this course also. This has 100% placements. So I have students coming from very diverse backgrounds in terms of urban-rural divide or in terms of economic background. I have students who are first-generation learners who have taken up this course with the motive that, you know, they want to do something different. Go back to their villages and prove themselves so that many women, many parents would send their girls to colleges. That is the idea with which my girls have taken up this course. But of late, they are really enjoying. Now students talk about, you know, business model as such. They want to see that, you know, develop something on their own.
No, I have a question on that too in the next round. Thank you, ma'am. So now I'll move to Derek. So your initial thoughts, how it works globally?
Yeah, so, you know, I think part of the issue for academia has always been for gaming, both the validation and the proper placement of gaming there. Like, who owns it? Is it computer science? Is it the arts? Is it here or there? And I think about both my personal trajectory into gaming as well as the university where I'm currently at. The answer was by interdisciplinary. For myself, I got into gaming, as you mentioned, from being in architecture for years, going to do a PhD in something called design computation. So there you have it. You know, how do you say the word design, which most people put in one category, and then you use the word computation, and then you think that's another category, and we mash this together to explore topics like aesthetics from a computational point of view, or explain looking at XR development, as my colleague here was talking about. And so that right there set a foundation for my life that I didn't have to choose between one or the other. Fast forward, and I find myself at Carnegie Mellon's Entertainment Technology Center, a program that was birthed out of a computer science professor and a professor from the arts 25 years ago, to establish a new paradigm that said, we don't have to move these communities apart. And in fact, by bringing them together, we can get more innovation as well as a technology rigor to create new products and new approaches to gaming. And so it's about moving the dial forward when you bring these unique communities together in a rigorous way. And I think that's often the misconception, is that when you start bringing in the artists and start bringing in designers, oh, wait a second, we're losing some rigor from the CS and the mathematicians. And I would say, even if you dare say the rigor has reduced, how about innovation? And that is where the market is really going to move, both in gaming and both in XR.
Good, so good. I think that brings me, brings to a question to you. I'll start with you. 4 or 5 years back, all of us in most of the conferences, we'll be hearing this word called meta. Everybody, we were thinking we should build meta team, meta skilling, meta. There was a lot of training institute there saying this training institute will offer meta-based courses. But nobody talks about this word called meta. It is still the company name, but nobody talk about that. This industry, specific to your industry, day in day out, there is something, changes. How are we adapting to the changes? See, madam is building a curriculum and she would have put something there, and by the time that student complete, that is obsolete. Mostly this gaming industry will make that obsolete to ensure something new is coming. How are you adapting to this changes in CMU?
So, throw in AI, throw in XR, throw in all these things that are changing every day. One key first thing is collaboration. We established that early on, that we can't do this in silos. That at CMU, we're very active in working with human-computer interaction. We work with computer science and AI. And so it goes back to the unique model of bringing teams from diverse backgrounds to approach these topics in real time. I've used the term in the past, undisciplined. You think about the word discipline. Disciplines were coming together, but also discipline is a rigor being fixed. And you start using this term undisciplined, which is the pulling apart.
Break it.
Break it. And you have to approach new topics. XR, when it first came out, the people who struggled with that most were people from the film industry, because they had a disciplined mind point of view that said, I'm going to control where the people look and cut and edit. And then gaming approached it. But those from like me, who came from architecture spatially, and those who come from other backgrounds, when we get in there, we don't have the certain blocks that we have that would stop us from thinking and approaching that from a very disciplined, narrow worldview. So to be undisciplined, to break apart, and to collaborate across boundaries gives you the type of cognitive flexibility to approach these new things and adapt to all the changes.
Thank you. I think that's excellent. I'll move to Chaitanya. Who is the ideal game developer? Who should come in there? That is number one question to me. Second, how do we create a kind of standing for this particular profession? Because why we are not able to build separate UG program and PG program for game development is colleges are worried whether there will be takers. Will it be seen as a real career? No. How do we make it lucrative? How do we build that brand for the so-called game developer community?
So I get you. So answer to the first question is, who can be a game developer? Everybody, right? And there is only one minimum basic requirement. You should love gaming, right? If you don't like gaming, you cannot be a good.
But the cream doesn't come here, no? Practical, all practical.
Coming to
the cream doesn't come there.
Coming to that. So you have to love gaming, right? If you don't like video games, gaming, then don't try and be a game developer, for sure. B, the second part now, right? Which is the journey. And this journey exists for everything. Every single thing, right? And usually I try and draw a kind of analogy with other industries which have gone through a similar hype cycle, right? Where nobody cares about it, then it's suddenly the next big thing, and then again nobody cares about it, and again it's the next big thing. It's part and parcel of existence. Now again, all this stems from lack of or inappropriate education. You're studying physics, chemistry, biology, maths in high school. You're not studying engineering, you're not studying how to be a doctor. But you understand that physics, chemistry, maths are the building blocks to higher education in engineering. You understand that chemistry, biology are building blocks for higher education in medicine. Where are the building blocks for higher education in media and entertainment? Which is where the game industry sits. It sits in the media and entertainment industry, right? Computer science is a tool. Computer science is a support service that is being given to the game development industry. There were games being built long before there were computers, and there will continue to be games long after there are computers. So we have to stop thinking of either the device or the workflow or the technology as being core or intrinsic to game development. Intrinsic core to game development are only three things. There is how the game looks like, how the game, what is my reaction to the game, which is the game mechanics. So when I'm playing it, how am I reacting to it? And then there is, if it is a game that is structured to be played for a long time, what are the levels? So that is what we call game design. So you have game art, you have game design, and you have game mechanics. These are the only three core areas. Today it is these are designed in one way, tomorrow they'll be designed in another way, day after they'll be designed in another way. So we have to stop looking at the support functionalities as the workflow around which the game is built. No. The workflow comes in service of the game, even if it's AI, right? And this unfortunately happens a lot because people think of the workflow skill set as the product skill set. Because I know computer science doesn't necessarily make you a good game developer. It doesn't hurt, right? If you have game development skills inside you, it doesn't hurt to be a good computer science graduate or a programmer, right? So that's one bit. Now coming back to the higher and technical education. So historically, Whistling Woods, we've always been the early mover in the industry for a long time. When we started in 2006, we had a 2-year full-time program in animation where I think the next longest from us was 3 months in the country. So we've borne that course. We're more than happy to have that. We've had a 4-year undergrad program in gaming for, what, 6 years now, JD? 7 years now, right? And 7 years ago when we launched it, honestly, we were not that worried, right? About the quality of the content, about the quality of the program. Because we're taken enough time to build it up and all that. Yes, it will take some time for students and parents to understand that this is a fantastic industry to be in. Globally today, if you had to make a list of all the industries in which the largest number of venture capital funding is going, the number 2 industry is gaming, game development. Right? Number 1 is something I can't say in public, but number 2 is video game development. Why would I not want to be part of that industry? I just came back from LA. The largest hoarding on Hollywood Boulevard is not of a movie, is of Call of Duty 6. On Hollywood Boulevard, right? There is a Joker hoarding. It's not, the Call of Duty hoarding is bigger than that. The single most profitable piece of media ever created is not Star Wars, is not Mickey Mouse, is not Disney. It is a game. Okay. 2013, they released GTA 5. Cost of production, $250 million. Over the past 11 years, cost of upgrading and redevelopment, another $250 million. Initial cost of marketing the game, about $200 million. $750 million spent on the game over 11 years period, right? As of May, I think I have data till May. As of May this year, that one game had made $9.3 billion. Revenue. One game. So much so that the joke was that the company should change its name from Riot Games to Riot Game because they didn't make a second one. Okay. Right? So, like, if you would meet someone and say, change your name, when are you going to make a next one, right? So, this is data that will start to sink in, just like it has happened for animation, just like it has happened for computer science, just like it has happened for all other areas of the industry. It will start to sink into students and it will start to sink into parents, and you will start to see successes like you saw from your batch of 25. The more and more people see that success, and this is where honestly what we're doing matters, but what she's doing matters more. Because at this point of time, the percentage of women in game development is single digits, which sucks. Yeah. She told it's terrible, right? So we want more females in game development. We want them more in, because it's not just about having a female there for female's sake. They bring something else to the table. They think differently, obviously, right? So, and we want that as an industry, as a country. So these are some of the, I should say, I can talk for an hour on this, but these are some of the areas that you need to kind of start to look at when you look at the industry. And just one last bit for 30 seconds. When we launched the program 7 years ago, it was a 3-year program, right? I think 2 years after that, we actually added a 4th year. Because we realized that there is much more content that needs to come in. There's much more rigor. And we change our program every 6 months. We have a university that's supportive of that. We have students who understand that there is no point learning just what is created 4 years ago, just because it exists in that curriculum. trust the institution, trust they know what they're doing. We change our curriculum every 6 months.
I think that's required. That's required, as you were telling.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we're in, forget being on top, we're ahead of the curve. Oftentimes industry comes to us to hire, and this is hilarious because we actually had one of the world's largest game companies come to recruit. And we were walking around the campus and we were seeing some of the emerging media stuff we're doing, and they said, oh, this is like way ahead of where we are. Can you train us? So at one side there were 4 people in a room interviewing students. At the other side there were 4 other people from the same organization who we were training. Right? So this is the kind of ecosystem that you will start to see. Now, we are one, right? You need 100 such institutions across India.
Sure, good. Now I think you're doing a good work on this space. Now I'll come to Professor Manivannan, because we all in the sense the institutions, we all follow IITs, right? Whatever IIT does, we take inspiration from there, most of the colleges here. So I have 2 questions for you. One, will XR, because you're the XR man for us today, will XR be real forever, for at least for the next 5-6 years, or will something, it will become like Meta? That is my first question. Second, what do you do in IIT in this space? Because institutions, at least in India, we always like to get inspired from there and do something in other institutions.
Yeah, sure. To answer your first question, now will XR be there for some time? Yes, I think XR, as I mentioned earlier, it is in the early stages of growth, and there's a lot of potential to grow. Just like in AI, what in IIT we are saying is that AI wave is going to get over in next couple of years. Okay, and there is a much bigger wave is going to come. That's a XR wave. And that XR wave, we have to get our youngsters ready. And then youngsters ready with a kind of skills, not just the, using the tools, but also developing the tools. That is what in IIT Madras we are trying. We are trying to bring basically India as a XR corridor, just like a IT corridor. In the last 30 years, we have spent time to create this image that India is IT corridor. Similarly, we wanted to take another 30 years to keep India as a XR corridor. For that, there's a lot of roadmaps we need to do, and IIT Madras is taking a lot of initiatives to build these roadmaps. So one of the main things in IIT to other institutes can look upon is that we wanted to prepare our youngsters as international skilled persons, not like digital laborers, or like what in IIT, not in IT corridor we have done. While building the IT corridor, we made ourselves to be very affordable laborers or cheap laborers, right? That's unfortunate, but we wanted to consciously build this XR corridor, human resources, such that they can go to the international level and then play major important roles. Just like what he mentioned, we wanted to create this interdisciplinary skills. It's not just developing the tools, but also the using the tools. Let me give one particular examples where we are talking about. This EduGC XR is about experience. Can we measure experience? IIT Madras is about the science and technology. So the science starts only when we measure, right? So the gaming experience, or this XR experience, or the animation experience. So how is the experience? How can we measure it? We teach a course in IIT Madras called the psychophysics, which I believe is fundamental to the entire EduGC XR platform. So in the course, which is a very unique course in India, the course we teach our students how do we measure the experience, how do we measure the perception. Only when we measure it, we can improve on it. If you don't measure it, we can't improve on it. If you don't measure it, we can't innovate it. And that is the important message we wanted to convey to our youngsters.
So I just want 20 seconds. So there is in IIT Gandhinagar, they have a cognitive sciences department, a cognitive science vertical. We work very closely with them because that's our industry. We don't make anything, we don't build anything. Our product is emotions. We're taking emotions to people, selling it to them and asking them for their time and money.
Money.
And time.
Yeah, yeah. Mainly money.
So, no, if you give me time, I'll get advertisers to give me money. Don't worry. So COGSA is extremely important because we sell emotions to the mind. So studying the mind is important. So that's another fantastic thing that IIT is doing.
Now I'll come to you, ma'am. I'll go to Darik because I have a question from here. So when Professor speaks about all these things, so where do you see the potential for this game development to the other sectors? So is it limited to whatever Chaitanya spoke about, building games, etc., or you know running one of the topmost institutions? Are there innovation coming out from your institution or overall in the industry which will help other industry?
Yeah, I think that's it. You know, whether it's, you call it gaming technologies or entertainment technologies, in the US, the people understand that that is a tool that, yes, we can make games for entertainment, but we can also use it for tools of use. And so whether we are creating content for workforce development, that's one that has picked up traction. You think about examples where Honda, for instance, car manufacturing, coming to the ETC saying, yes, work on something with XR for in-car entertainment, but also they understand that the same methods that we're creating, those same experiences, could be used on the factory floor to train employees of how to put the vehicle together. And so once you start to understand it's the same skill set that's needed to create something for entertainment value versus educational value versus workforce development and training, that opens up the door of accessibility for stakeholders to say, we want to invest in that. And we don't care if you're making a VR experience to shoot zombies or you're making the experience to show you how to weld pipes together. We see that you're pushing the industry forward. And again, ultimately going back to the money thing, it's about multiple stakeholders investing in the technology and then you be able to do stuff that has multiple outcomes.
No, I do agree to you because I'm part of a large company, L&T, which is a large infrastructure company. And here, nowadays, the buildings are showcased with the help of XR. Somebody, a client in Dubai wants to see what's happening to his building in Mumbai. He's able to literally walk into it with the technology that you have built. I think that use case is already there in industry, and I see such will become more and more specifically, in healthcare industry and the other domain. So it is not just the entertainment; it is going to be much more, as you said. Now I'll go to Madam. Madam, when you have developed this program and you're running the program, I know the challenge here will be how will you ramp up teachers for this? That too, specifically, you are from a government college. Now, with all due respects, we do also understand about the teachers in government college. Are they not reluctant to learn all these new technologies and teach them? How did you manage that, and how will you manage that in future?
Actually, we have a lot of support from our state government and Department of Higher Education. It is with the initiative from them and the support we are able to run this program. And we are not trying to upskill our existing faculty. We are trying to collaborate with industry. In this regard, Lakshya Digital had come forward, and we have teachers, trainers from industry itself. They are only involved in teaching the students, and they are involved in upgrading the syllabus. We are not as dynamic as changing the curriculum every 6 months as such, but we are upgrading. We are doing a lot of, within the program, lot of added certificate programs for the students wherever the gap is there. All that is coming from the industry support. And I say that this industry collaboration is very, very important, especially in fields like game art design.
So will I be right by saying you can never do this program as a pure academic program? It must be an industry collaborative program.
Yes.
What do you mean by pure academic program?
Like the ones which is happening now.
No, it's not happening. Even now also it's not happening pure academic.
No. I'm not talking about your program. I'm talking about you go to a typical computer science. Many colleges, it'll be a 100% academic program.
Yeah, but they're doing it wrong. Just because they're doing it wrong doesn't mean that's the way to do it.
That's the reason I'm asking this question to a principal. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. So, and we are also looking in future, we intend that as an academic institution, I wish industries would come and collaborate with us for research and development as well. That is what we are looking at. And we are very new in this. We just started about 3 years back, and first batch is yet to pass out. As I was keenly listening, they have expanded it to a 4-year program. So we also, I mean, because we don't have a department as such to promote research and post-graduation programs, we did not expand it to a 4-year program. Right now we are running it under mathematics department only. So I feel like exploring those aspects, trying to establish a department and then take up research activities as well in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Chaitanya, can we take few? I have another 5-6 minutes. Professor, can any one of you one mic can be given there? Oh, you. Yes, sir.
I am basically Ganesh from Ramashna Engineering College at Coimbatore, taking care of the industry academia collaborations. One question to Professor Manivannan. Could you just highlight on few use cases for XR?
There are several use cases we can talk about. The main use case is going to be skilling. So the earlier panel discussion, the media and sector skills were there, right? So the entire skilling, if you look at it, they are using the traditional method of skilling, plumbing or electrical wiring and all those things. Imagine all those things can be done in XR, right? So I believe the media and entertainment sector can adopt XR and then make a huge change without, or even we can improve the quality as well. So in the traditional method of skilling, if you look at it, there is no way we can measure whether they are really skilled or not. Whereas in the XR, we can measure whether they could skilled or not.
In fact, even VR we can use, if I'm not right, if I'm not wrong. So why not VR, why XR? That is the question.
Can I jump in and talk really quickly? One thing to understand why XR is a uniquely different platform is because it presents information to you spatially. And the notion that even if you're doing something, on the trade floor downstairs, there's an excellent example of a group of students from here who did an experiment in which they are combining chemical compounds together in a spatial environment. So when we think about how we retain information, once you put it to you spatially, you're going to retain it differently. And so whether it's language acquisition, whether it's a simulation of a skill, or whether it's something abstract, something in the sciences, something in mathematics, once we put it into a new spatial environment, we have a new language of understanding it, and that presents a wealth of new opportunities for how we learn and adapt to new things.
Also, XR includes VR, so it's not separate, right? And also, just to add to what he said, in addition to it being spatial, it's also the least distracted form of content consumption. Right? Between cinema, television, digital, and immersive, immersive is the least distractive. So it's easier for you to achieve the concept of deep learning. So actually for education, it's really, really valuable. Education, healthcare, PTSD, to solve other bigger problems.
Yeah. Now we have 2 more questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more use case for him since he is talking about education. You are all aware of the NPTEL courses from IITs, right? Imagine the NPTEL courses goes into XR in the next couple of years, right? After every 50 minutes of video lectures, 10 minutes you can visit the lab in IIT, in the virtual reality and do the experiments in IITs. We want that to be available for all our rural students as well. Thank you.
Good morning,
Yeah.
sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah.
My question is, sir, will there be a course that would help aspiring esports player so that young esports player could play for professionally and also pursue their courses for academic purpose?
Chaitanya.
So having a course to be a good esports player is almost impossible.
No, sir. My question is like, can it be cross-platform? Like, a player can play games while pursuing his courses.
You can do that anyway. All of our students are doing it all the time.
For esports players.
Yeah, for esports players. They're joining teams, they're getting bought by teams, they're participating in leagues, they hardly sleep, but you know, that's another problem. But they're studying in the day and they're playing at night or whatever time. Half the time they bunk class, ask JD. So, he's our HOD for gaming. But I mean, we try and make sure they don't. But you can. Again, it's two separate things. Education continues. While you're doing education, you can go and work in McDonald's. I'm not saying you should, but you can, right? It's exactly the same thing. While you're pursuing education, you can be an esports player.
Thank you, sir.
No, that has to do with the attitude of the student, if I'm right. Yeah, one last question by the gentleman there. And one more from this madam. Yeah.
Good afternoon all. I am Karthik from Chinchlikar University. So I am a game developer and last 6 years I am working in academics also. First of all, congrats to the ma'am, because from in my 18 years career, it should be like a mechanical department, means full of boys in my whole department. But nowadays I am seeing the girls in my classes also. So first congratulations to the ma'am. And sir, for my IIT I have one questions. You are planning for any XR device, creating a new XR device, or you are using any other XR devices?
Yeah, creating the new XR device is the goal, and the inventor of Oculus headset is right now in IIT Madras, and he is teaching our students how to create new device.
So, and one more thing, as per my knowledge, in my experience, I can say, game developer can be an XR developer, a better XR developer than direct beta computer science XR developer. That's my opinion.
Definitely.
Because
yeah, sure, definitely. I think gaming needs artistic look and a lot of other skills. Whereas XR, it is different skills. These are the two different things. Maybe my colleague can add.
I just want to be cautious on the word better, right? Because what I said earlier about being siloed. So a game developer that moves into XR will oftentimes be blocked by how they previously made a product in the game world. And so, yes, there's certain skills that they have that they could be flexible to go from the programming side to the art side and to multiple things. But I'll be cautious because some of the most innovation that happens is, again, when you're bringing outside people into the conversation, bringing people from theater, from the arts, from math, from science coming together to explore this topic. That's where you see the true innovation without the previous biases. And then one thing I'd want to say to the question about esports, again, this works in the US, I don't know if it works here. You're basically mentioning the concept of a student athlete. And in some universities, it's modeled very well to support student athletes. But what's exciting is if the sport is of enough caliber, universities often would incentivize that. And so you're getting scholarships to play on a team on the behalf of the school. So I guess my question is, when will esports be adapted into the university as a valuable part of the community so that you're actually getting paid a scholarship to be the esports athlete and do both things?
Yeah. So just to kind of answer that, so we're already doing it but slightly differently. So we have an MBA in Media and Entertainment. We've had alumni who've created esports teams. They participate in leagues, they retain players, etc., etc. But I'm not actively encouraging current students to participate in it because otherwise I'll never see them in class. Right? So that's the only reason. If I'm able to sense some kind of maturity and balance in a student, then I would recommend. Yeah, you know what? Check it out. But otherwise,
maybe one last question from you.
Just a quick question. So my background is I'm actually a physician trained in India, then a scientist in US, turned entrepreneurship. Like right now,
can you repeat?
I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own startup. Okay, and I'm actually trying to create XR content for healthcare education. Because I'm passionate about education. So the underlying goal for my question is education. So we need agility of thinking among our youngsters. So the way we train our youngsters shouldn't be like siloed or moving from interdisciplinary to almost undisciplinary. You know, like you need a certain flexibility in your mindset. How are we teaching our kids to do that?
You should give some perspectives.
So I will say our model at Carnegie Mellon is very unique in that students coming into this entertainment technology program have a required course in improv acting. and we have someone from theater teaching them principles of improv. Now, it's not just to make them better public speakers, although that is one benefit, but there's some principles in improvisational acting called yes and, where some character does something and you're supposed to respond to them, not by changing the scene, but responding and adapting on that scene. So teaching improvisational thinking, whether through music, whether through acting, whether through a lot of things, is a principle that goes beyond that class, and we see it manifested when they're working in teams and groups. And so that's just a very practical thing that we put in our curriculum, has been there since its very beginning 25 years ago.
Thank you, thank you. I think just to add and conclude this panel, while building independent program like what Madam could do in institutions may take some more time, but this NEP, the current NEP in Indian context, has given a good amount of flexibility to make sure you build good specializations here in Indian institutions. So all institutions, whether they run computer science, BE or a BTech or even BSc computer science, wherever possible, I think we should have a scope of building good kind of electives, maybe a kind of a major or minor, whatever we say, in that format, to build some 6-7 programs, put together some 25 to 30 credits in Indian context, specific to game development. If at all that industry is going to boom in India, as Chaitanya said, I think we already have a way. If not as a full-fledged program like you and what Madam has built, it may take time, but Professor Manivannan sir was also talking about they offering it as a separate specialization. I think that is already there in place, and I'm sure all private institutions would have already done it, while government institutions will take time. So overall, thank you very much to all the panelists, and you have given a wonderful insights. A big round of applause, and unto Madam too, because gaming has always been a boys' play. Where you took an initiative of building this program, that too in a women's college, making sure 30 girl students coming out of, you should give a big round of applause to this Madam, because that requires a separate guts. Because all are used to go to Infosys and TCS and being comfortable. You decided to do this.
And that too in mathematical
that too in mathematics department. Very conservative departments. They are all typically, they will never change their thought process. Good that, sorry if there is any maths professors, because that's okay. We all love you, but we don't understand. That's only the problem. Okay. So thank you very much. We give one more big round of applause to my entire panel. Since the next panel is there, I wanted to finish it on time. Thank you very much to all the panelists. Yeah.